share for the greater benefits of all the continents. And we had leaders here from all the continents, and I think they had very powerful and very clear way to set the scene for this ad hoc meeting. Thank you very much to all our speakers. You were awesome.
Yes.
Or maybe ask the girl, the girl for us.
Yeah, we will do that too, but close to me, because selfie is selfie. We are making, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Thank you, thank you.
This is a collaboration
So these leaders did not lie to you. We need perseverance. It is hard work. Barbara told you how much time she needed to convince in the US to share and to open the Landsat data. But she has also explained the very strong power of GEO to upscale this concept and this idea at the global level. And this is why we need you now, because what she said is that this upscale was done thanks to the community. And this is why now we need to engage with all the audience. I will call on the scene the speakers of the next session. So we were on the what and why. We will begin on the how. If you can come, please. Don't tell me they're not in the room. So it's a hard work. It's a big challenge. But Bente also told you that we began the road already under the leadership of Gilberto. And, you know, I'm sure all of you have done at some point some snowballs or wool balls. The most difficult is the start. But here we have started, I think, I hope, the very beginning of the snowball or the wood ball. And we need to speed up. So we are going to have now some presentations about where we are in the start of the snowball. And the first presentation will be given by Felipe. We have talked about a knowledge hub. And Felipe will present the tool, the knowledge hub itself, and what it can do for you and with you. Yeah?
Okay, so thank you so much for joining our session today. And just to, okay, so yeah, I'm Felipe Carlos. I work at the GEO Secretariat, and today my goal here is to just present you the unique value of the GEO Knowledge Hub and how it is moving the GEO community toward open applications and also open knowledge. So as we heard from Bente and the last speakers, GEO started with this open data concept. So this is in our heart. So based on these concepts, we developed a lot of principles and technology, solutions, initiatives, and of course, not only this technical aspect, but we also evolved as a community. So we are here with a lot of good colleagues and friends collaborating to produce good data sets, technologies to improve science, and so on. And while we are collaborating, doing this kind of collaborations to produce data and technology, we are producing knowledge. And it is interesting to see that the GEO knowledge is everywhere. So as we have a lot of initiatives and we are always sharing data, producing things, the content produced by our community is used by many, and this is really good. And there is, of course, one very important aspect we need to take care with all this knowledge we are producing. So it is important for us as a community to be able to reuse and reproduce the knowledge we are producing inside our community. So this is important because when we, for example, produce one Earth observation application and share this with the GEO community, the community can reuse this, reproduce the results to create new knowledge, new ideas, reuse the same application to a different area, for example, and this way we can always produce new things using existing knowledge, existing ideas, and reuse resources. But to make this possible and to make things reusable and reproducible, we need to open not only data, but also the tools we are using to develop the applications we have, the methods, and all the things underlying the application we are developing. So, of course, open data is really important, but alone is not enough. We need to open all the things we are developing. And sometimes in our community, this is not happening. And what we have is the GEO knowledge is hidden everywhere, because sometimes we have initiatives sharing, for example, the tools they're developing or the methodologies in multiple platforms, for example, and this is sometimes hard to be explored, to people understand this. So we need to have a way to solve this and a way to have the community collaborating in a single place where it is possible to learn from previous works and also move things forward. And for this, as Bente mentioned, we adopt this open knowledge concept. So our goal with this, the use of this concept is have the possibility to share not only the data we are producing, but also share all the other materials, the knowledge behind the things. And to support the community with these, with the adoption of this concept, we have the GEO Knowledge Hub. So the GEO Knowledge Hub is the digital library for the GEO community where we can go to open our Earth observation applications. So we can use the GEO Knowledge Hub to share, for example, all the resources we have used and produced in our Earth observation application. Once we have this shared there, we keep these resources preserved so other users can reuse in different times or revisit the same thing to, I don't know, start a new or different kind of project. And of course, with things open and preserved, we ensure that the community can reuse the activities the GEO community is producing. And with that, using the GEO Knowledge Hub, we are empowering and democratizing the possibilities to create, share, and reuse knowledge in our community. And of course, all the things we are building in the GEO Knowledge Hub is by the community and for the community. So all the things we are developing in the GEO Knowledge Hub are open. This is a community effort, and we always try to use this on-demand approach. So if you have suggestions in what we need to have in the GEO Knowledge Hub, like content, features, and so on, we can discuss and include in the GEO Knowledge Hub. So this is the way we are always working. And one of the things we're also doing in the GEO Knowledge Hub context is this idea of make sure that we have the content available there, but also that the knowledge available there is used by the community. So create a kind of a channel to connect the knowledge provider with the application users itself. And for this, what we are doing is produce, for example, webinars. So in the last months, we produced a series of webinars around these OpenAO applications for food security subject. And we developed these, and thanks to the support of the GeoGlam team, we developed this series of webinars, and we had a lot of attendees, multiple countries, and so on. And we also developed this webinar with FAO, so around the Vapor ecosystem. And the goal of all these webinars is to showcase what is available in the GEO Knowledge Hub, and then let the community know and start using what is already available there, and also start contributing with the content available in the GEO Knowledge Hub. So that's what I have to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Felipe. So Felipe present you what we do, what is the Knowledge Hub, but then the Knowledge Hub needs content. And I will call Kalamkas, also working with GEO Secretariat, to explain what is the content today of the Knowledge Hub and how she creates this content.
Thank you. So, hello everyone, thank you. My name is Kalamkas, and I'm the content curator of the GEO Knowledge Hub, and I work together with the GEO Knowledge Hub team. So, as Bente already mentioned about the GEO Open Knowledge Statement, which was adopted in 2021, and 2022, the GEO Knowledge Hub was launched as a platform to share open data and open knowledge, and to foster discussions, to foster collaborations. In 2023, the first open data and open knowledge workshop was held in Geneva. And now we are here in Hangzhou, for which I am personally very happy. Okay, so the content, we are happy that a lot of GEO working programs are contributing for the enrichment of the content of the GEO Knowledge Hub. And also we are working to have the rest of the GEO working program activities to collaborate with us, so we can register their products and their results. And of course, we are not only working with the GEO working program activities, but also with regional GEOs, actively contributing to the enrichment of the content, EuroGeo, AmeriGeo, AfriGeo, and AOGeo. So apart from that, we are not forgetting about geo-participating organizations, such as Food Agriculture Organization and Space for Climate Observatory. So we have some content available on the GEO Knowledge Hub. And as already Felipe mentioned, that it is important that this knowledge produced by GEO community, for GEO community. So it's a community of effort, and we are very happy that the community is very active in this endeavor. And as a result, for now, I will give you like some statistics. 154 packages available in the GEO Knowledge Hub with 816 resources. And these resources includes different kind of data, audio, video, tools, publications, and etc. And we are also happy to provide some metrics. These metrics are not for the whole time, but from the February 2023, so more than 1 year. And as you can see, we have a large number of unique visitors. And also we have large number of total page views. So, and we believe that it's a great result for this short term. And also we are very actually happy that GEO Knowledge Hub is accessible from different geographic locations. This map shows like different, the special distribution of accessibility of the GEO Knowledge Hub. And for the moment, we are already worked on some new features, and I'd like to maybe say like soon is going to be launched like GEO Marketplace model. And also we have also great tool like link checker, which gives allows for knowledge providers to keep always updated. And as you can see, there is a list of new features that is going to be available soon. And of course, GEO Knowledge Hub is working towards the objectives of GeoPost 2025 strategy. And I would like to say that it will be great if we move forward as one to share open data and open knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalamkas. So we have the tool, we have the content. We will invite in the next 2 talks content providers. So first one will be Mayu Zhang from the Aerospace Information Research Chinese Academy of Science, and they will present us their testimony as knowledge providers.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. In the following a couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about how we work together with users so that we can go together further especially working together with developing countries and in our group. I will first introduce our platform, CropWatch, which is one of the key contributors to GeoGlam flagship. And currently we are working for global monitoring for 173 countries, providing information and knowledge for those countries at national level and subnational level. And the users from the platform, they could get the information, they could even download the products for their internal use. So this is the platform. And with the platform, we regularly release the information, global crop monitoring information every quarter. And also at the end of the year, we integrate the 4 quarterly bulletin to release an annual summary report. The idea is to increase the transparency of the information, of the global food information, so that everybody in the world, they have a better access to those information. And behind the information, we have developed a pipeline that from the data acquisition to the service provider, the whole process now is in an automatic way. And the user are involved at the every stage, starting from the data acquisition. How the user is involved. So when users use our platform, they could define the area of interest based on their own demands. There are 3 options on our platform to define. The first one is to select some predefined administrative units. So this is quite common. So every user, they could select those regions. The other option is they could define the boundaries based on their own area of interest, like a farmer. They can upload the boundary of the farms and then use those boundaries to process the data specific for that region. And the last option is they can draw the boundaries on the map to define. This gives the flexibility to the users for data processing part. And the other part which users strongly involved is the data collection on the ground. We have been developed 2 smartphone apps that user can openly access, and they can use the tools to collect the data on the ground. And one is the field watch that can be used for yield data measurements. The other one is GVG, which collects thousands of geotech photos. Those data could contribute to either crop classification or crop area estimation. And with those area defined by the users, data collected on the ground, and the framework the platform provides, the user could select the different models based on the data they collected and conduct crop monitoring on their own. And we are now upgrading our system so that in the future, even the devices from the user side could also be used, and our algorithms could be synchronized to the user side, so that they have their own data on their own side, and also use our open available algorithms to do processing. Because we know some users, they want 2 options. One is online, the other one is on their own site. So they need both options. So this is how we work with the users. And I would say the user knowledge are very essential. During the last 2 days, we have been talking about the user engagement in the GEO Symposium, and because we can develop the framework, but we don't have much detailed information. When we work with the local user, their knowledge are more precise than the global data sets, and those information like a crop calendar, crop seed information, the variety, those kind of local information could be embedded in the system. So we give the flexibility to user to define the growing season for specific crops, for specific region. And when they are doing those, and then the model could generate the result. Of course, those data, those products could be accessed by the user. They can download the raw data, the raw products from the system. They can do internal validation so that they got also a reliable products with the platform. And I would say another point, important point, is the capacity building, because through capacity building, we could get feedback information from users so that we can further improve our services. And because they will provide some suggestions on the interface, some modification of the interface, how we can provide service to meet the user specific demands. And I also want to emphasize that the user, they have more local data so that we can jointly work together to provide service. And the user, after training provided by us, there could be a trainer for other local communities so that the services could be we could broaden the services, and more people from the local could access to those data, knowledge, information, etc. So this is how we work together with the users. And finally, is some links. I also want to thank for GEO Knowledge Hub. And there's one link which where we provide all the relevant information of our platform, how the user could use the services, and how the user could involve, including the training materials are already there. So it's quite open, so user can follow the package and use the platform. Thank you.
Yeah, we understood that sharing not only data but also knowledge creates a virtuous loop of discussion and trust with the user to enrich also the products and so on. This was great. The next knowledge provider will be European, just to show that the uptake of the tool is already global. Thank you, Orestes Fire from the National Observatory of Active.
Yes, hello everyone. I would like to speak about our experience as an R&D project in Europe on how we contributed to the Knowledge Hub, perhaps for other R&D projects to follow. So what was Eiffel? It was a 3-year project with a 5 million budget. It ended on May 2024. We were part of the Horizon Europe program. This is the major research and development innovation project program in Europe. It runs in 7-year cycles. So we are a fairly typical project, let's say, in size. We had about more than 15 partners, some of which are Earth observation entities. Nevertheless, few had working relationships and knowledge of GEO. So we had to do a GEO 101 for many of these entities. In a nutshell, we try to utilize a GEOS portal for creating climate change adaptation and mitigation applications in 5 quite diverse pilots. And the second part of the project was to augment the GEOS portal itself, its search functionalities. I won't go into details. I will just stick to the pilots and the GEO Knowledge Hub. So yes, we were a typical R&D project, but a disclaimer is that we were GEO by design. We answered the particular GEOS call put out by DGRTD. Our pilot applications were mandated and mostly utilized GEOS and Copernicus data for their applications. And we had an obligation in our grant agreement to put things in the GEO Knowledge Hub. Plus, we had an insider. I come from the National Observatory of Athens, which also hosts the Greek GEO office. In GEO jargon, this is a national coordination mechanism with several years of active participation in GEO. So this was very important for our work here. I put together as a manual, let's say, a 1-slide manual, what we did. I know it's complicated. I will try to guide you through this. So basically, we created a workflow that we hope that other R&D projects may follow. Actually, the EuroGeoSec, the Secretariat of the EuroGeo Regional Initiative, approached us and said, we really liked your work. You can see in the bottom right a table of 14 Earth observation relevant European projects. You are the only one who has already contributed to the GEO Knowledge Hub. Of course, eShape was the front runner in all of this. Would you mind explaining to the other projects what you did? So this is what we came up with, a manual of sorts. So first we had to, this was 2 years into the project, 2 out of 3 years. Meaning that we had to have mature applications. We explained to the partners the different GeoKnowledge Hub flavors, that not all knowledge packages are born equal or same in size. We set a minimum requirement that we should at least have one publication, a software, some datasets, and a user story that would be provided by the Eiffel pilots in order to say, yes, we have a good material to compile a knowledge package. We created a long list. This was an internal exercise in the project that we really looked critically at what we had, and we tried thinking of reproducibility and replicability, like Felipe said before, whether we really had some knowledge package material. We came up with a long list, and we put this long list to the partners. This was like an internal exercise, like an interview of sorts. We got maturity, the minimum requirements criteria. We synthesized some applications to make more sense, to create more added value. And we had some IPR issues with some of our partners. Perhaps the marketplace will help in the future for this. So we kept some separate, but it's important that we also killed some. We killed some of our applications. So only a subset of our project ended up in the GeoKnowledge Hub. So this process led to a shortlist. We proposed this to the GeoSec, and there was no actual peer review there, but we got a yes. So there was not official gatekeepers in this process. I don't know if there should be such a process. So we ended up with 8 proposed packages that would be autonomous, meaning that yes, they are made under the Eiffel project, but from post-Eiffel, each individual provider will be responsible for updating and following the package. The GeoSec gave us a very nice webinar. I don't know if I put optional parentheses, meaning that we could just put it in the GeoKnowledge Hub for others to see at their own leisure. This was very informative because it also provided the incentives apart from technical specifications. And then we proceeded with our manual registration. I'm saying manual, juxtaposing to the eSafe experience that was automatic. Okay. So for this, we created an Eiffel community. We got the necessary passwords, etc. I would say that it took about 3 hours per knowledge package once you had all the resources ready, your publication, your DOIs, etc. And we started this work. Small iteration was needed with the GeoSec and myself being the geo expert in the consortium, let's say, because there is a lot of geo jargon inside that makes no sense to an outsider. So finally, this is not a typo. We published 7 knowledge packages in total under the Eiffel community and utilizing also the EuroGeo tag. These are the 7 knowledge packages, quite diverse. You can see in parentheses the GeoWork program activity, which is relevant to that particular knowledge package, ranging from agriculture to buildings in cities to air quality modeling, forest fires, etc. What we learned, we hope EuroGeoSec thinks we are good enough to serve as a best practice for other Horizon projects contributing to the GeoKnowledge Hub, but hopefully not only Horizon projects, but other R&D projects. We had a Geo Insider on the inside that bridged the project with the Geo ecosystem. This was helpful. If this bridge does not exist, what happens? We had a strong internal exercise where we interpreted and synthesized our output into knowledge packages. Is it necessary for someone to have to green light this exercise? The added value was not immediately evident. I put in italics what I think what the added value is. And last but not least, Paula was very jubilant, very happy. She said, bravo for this very nice work we did all together. But this is the first step. Next step are the Geo webinars and so on. So this is the first step of the Geo journey for our project and partners. Thank you.
Orestes has reminded that we can thank the European Commission to have provided this incentive to also trigger this virtuous loop to put knowledge into the knowledge hub. Then thank you to have prepared the way for others, explaining how to do it. So this is a very, we know it's a long way, it's a complex work, but we are not alone. There are other knowledge hubs, and Zhongqing Chen will present us the work which is done with FAO.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're pleased to be here to share our experience on open knowledge and open data. So I'm leading a digital impact stream in FAO, digital and algorithm activation. So there's a natural link between agriculture and geospatial technology. So Earth position, remote sensing quite useful in our work. Just as Felipe said, geo knowledge is hidden everywhere. And FAO is one of the most important places, but we are ready to share. First, let me reintroduce FAO. So FAO, we have a very long tradition of open knowledge. So since our foundation, almost 8 years ago, we positioned ourselves as an international knowledge agency to fight poverty and hunger. So I just code the very first two clauses in your basic test. So it's collect, analyze, and interpret, disseminate information regarding food, nutrition, food, and agriculture, and do research and innovation in this area. So that's why we have a lot of concrete contribution to the scientific technology innovation, including the field of geospatial. I just show two examples. One, for geospatial big data management, I think a lot of people know GEO network. You know, it was originally in an FAO project. Then it come to the open source. Another one is LCCS, Land Cover Classification System. It's also FAO innovation. Now it's ISO standard for land cover remote sensing. We still have more. I just share two of them as example. And with we are facing the digital transformation for agro-food system. To meet this demand, 5 years ago, FAO started to integrate various platforms, the knowledge platforms, into one big platform. So right now we call FAO Agri-Connect platform. So we have a lot of platforms, including our colleagues already present, like Whopper, SAPO, and also a very famous one, Forsted, GAZ, and so on. So based on this platform, we follow the standard for data cataloging and federation, and then make the data interoperable with the data realization interface to make the users easy to access. And furthermore, we integrate a lot of knowledge model and digital solutions into the analysis tools. We combine all these things together to provide actionable information to the end users, including farmers in the field, and also the decision makers at the country, regional, and global scale. So that's the data management part. And we organize data in different categories based on the nature of the data and the requirements of work. So it's managed by two tools. One is GEO network, another one is SECAN. So we follow these data management rules. So we are working together with a data working group. And another important work we are doing right now is essential agricultural remote sensing data portal. So it is not only raw remote sensing imageries, so the tailored data products for agro-food system. we do it with collaboration with different agencies who is good as this data product, and also we generated this product based on some methodology. And I just share the results. So right now, more than 2 million data layers already in the platform, and rebuild the data and knowledge sharing culture inside the organization. We really break the silos, let people work together. And also, it is de facto, I feel, GEO knowledge infrastructure, supporting a lot of projects and initiatives, including a lot relevant to GEO. For example, WAPR, GFOI, and also One Health. We have a lot of work in that field. And also, it promoted geospatial knowledge and knowledge sharing to fight poverty and hunger. So just some figures to show, we have more than 150,000 users, new users in the past year from all around the world, cover more than 200 countries and regions. The second part is open knowledge. We a knowledge agency, we have a lot of work in this field. We have, I feel, open knowledge repository, archive a lot of knowledge solutions, including geospatial ones, and also based on vocabulary, ontology, and semantic, we have agris and agro, and also I feel digital portfolio. It's an archive for all, I feel, all the digital solutions. And also we work together with DPG, Digital Public Alliance. We have a lot for this DPG. So in this FEO digital portfolio, we already archived more than 400 solutions. So a lot of is relevant geospatial. And this is the principle we use, the 5 R's. Re-architect the framework to enable the interoperability and reutilize to make the resource reusable and redistribute to the end users, and reinforce and renew the people's lifestyle. So with that, we already have submit 11 DPGs. 9 of them are already approved. You can find WAPR is around this. Okay, and then the lesson we learned. So all these achievements driven by demands from the field, from the work, and also follow standard, enable interoperability. So and for open knowledge, we should understand and respect the knowledge sharing culture. That's very important. And also always work together instead work alone. So internally and externally. So next step. So we're working towards not only data and information, and not only analysis data, but also action information and knowledge. That's what working towards for the next step. Thank you.
Thank you to have reminded that we need standards if we want to collaborate and build networks of knowledge hubs, and this is very important. So we talked a lot about the fact that we need to focus on the use and reuse. And if you talk about reuse, even if we talk about data sharing, and even if the data is often open, this doesn't mean you don't need a license. And we have identified a need to raise awareness on licenses, probably not only raise awareness, but push further the works on licenses. And this is why Taylor Campbell from Creative Commons is here. And thank you very much, Taylor.
Thank you. Greetings to everyone. My name is Taylor. I represent Creative Commons, and we are known globally as the leading organization in open licensing. So we've had a great relationship so far with GEO, and we have been working on open data licensing for the GEO community. So at Creative Commons, we have been doing an open climate data project, and we've been facilitating better sharing of Earth and climate data with data licensing, metadata, and database user interface practices. We have our resources available in the following languages also if you're interested. So at Creative Commons, for the open climate data work, we've consulted many institutions, most relevant being GEO. And my goal for today is that if you are interested in data licensing specifically for your data or your platforms, that you would follow up with us because we have specifically allocated resources for consulting and training for GEO members, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end as well. But please find me afterward if you are working on data licensing, because we want to make sure that we can give you your support. So our recommendations fall into two categories. First are for legal and licensing terms, and the second are for metadata values. But we'll start with the recommendations for licensing. So Creative Commons, we actually have 7 licenses, open licenses available, but for the purposes of open climate data, and as was mentioned earlier, we really want to focus on 2 for data producers for the public. The first option is CC0, which is actually not a license at all. It's a public domain dedication. Creative Commons has worked with international copyright law to identify that the CC0 public domain dedication does work and is recognized internationally and globally. So if you want to dedicate the climate data to the public domain, you can use CC0. We also recommend you include an attribution request because with CC0, it is not legally required, but it is still recommended because attribution is very important in the scientific community. Option B, the second option, is CC BY, which is our least restrictive license. The CC BY license only requires attribution by international copyright law. So we recommend that if you do want to use a license that retains copyright, that you use the CC BY license. The 4.0 version is the most recent version. One thing to note is that the attributions that are requested for the CC0 public domain dedication and that are required for the CC BY license do have 4 elements to them, and we use the acronym TASL so that you can remember what they are. If you are attributing the data that you're using, you should include all 4 of these elements: the title, the author, the source link, and the license or the legal terms. Oftentimes, citations or references will omit the L, the license. So we want to make sure that that's included. And we use the TASL acronym so that you can remember that. And here's an example of how that looks. We can hyperlink the contents to make it shorter. So now we're going to go into the recommended metadata values, which essentially center the attribution elements of title, author, source link, and license, as well as a right statement and a full bibliographical citation that a user can easily copy and paste. Again, we're centering open licensing for open data by making sure that the license information is readily available within metadata schema for machine readability, but also for human readability. The license value is something that we already worked with on the GEO Knowledge Hub, and we're excited that that's available for everyone now. And we want to make sure that whether you are providing your own metadata schema, you include the license value if you can, as well as the rights statement. You'll see the rights statement here goes a little bit more into what the license actually is, because the feedback that we got from the community is people don't know what these things are. And so it's very helpful if we can include that in plain language within the metadata. And I'm going to conclude with, we have some links. I know you can't click them here, but they're available on the Creative Commons website. And also, if you just want to reach out, you can, I'm happy to send you copies. I can be reached at taylor@creativecommons.org as well. And to conclude, we do want to have everyone who represents a GEO work program activity to submit the survey here. If you can take a scan of the QR code, we're specifically interested in following up with every GEO work program activity to understand how you're currently thinking about licensing. No judgment. We just want to know where things stand and how we may be able to help improve the use of open licensing across GEO. We're hoping that we can get those surveys in by Tuesday, the 15th of October. So please take a scan here, and we will also follow up with you all via email after the conclusion of ODOC so that we can share this link as well. This is specifically for representatives of work program activities. And as I mentioned at the beginning, would love to follow up with you directly if you have any questions in the meantime. Otherwise, you'll hear from me after you submit the survey. And if you would like, we will also be doing a webinar in the coming months to make more of this information available at a more in-depth level. Thank you.
Isn't it already a great achievement when you listen to someone expressing this strong wish to help you? Thank you very much, Taylor. So the next presentation will be made by Andrew Murdoch from GEO Secretariat and will explain how these open data and open knowledge efforts are located into the global GEO post-2025 strategy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so my job is to coordinate all of the inputs for the post-2025 strategy implementation plan. So that's rooted in our document here. We're all familiar, hopefully, with the strategy. You know, the idea of creating transformative programs, global equity, uses of innovation and new technologies, trying to ensure that we capture the youth and the new insights that brings, and also to make sure that we communicate better. We heard so much yesterday about how we communicate better, and that's going to be a recurring theme for sure. Sorry. We have a method, obviously, to build a strategy. We have our goals as a strategy. We need to work out a bit more specific on how we implement the strategy and also the actions that will deliver it. And so that's the purposes of being here, is to talk with you guys to understand more clearly you know, the needs and to try and make sure that they're reflected in the strategy. I also talked in the session the other day about the 4 SIP pillars. I'm not going into detail now, but essentially this activity is focused on the work program. You know, the work on open data, open knowledge sits firmly within the post-2025 work program pillar. And really, you know, it's clear that we've already heard several examples of the importance of Earth intelligence and open data within that. And so, you know, without this universal access to data, we can't have Earth intelligence for all. So that's the first thing, that we don't necessarily have universal access to data at the moment, neither imagery or in situ data. And so we need to fill gaps to ensure that we can provide that Earth intelligence, because without the data, it's impossible. So we need to work with donors and imagery providers to potentially fill those gaps. And some of those issues are sort of technical, and others are more sort of legal and administrative. And so we need to try and overcome that. And we obviously want to try and signpost data and to collect and harmonize information, especially in the in-situ data. In addition to data, though, the delivery of Earth intelligence requires resources and knowledge as well. And you know, we already know that several places from our conversations at the regional GEO events don't have the processing power to undertake some of these processing activities to deliver Earth intelligence. So how can we put in place the infrastructure that's going to lead to that? And again, we can work with donors and providers, companies, but equally, you know, we're going to be developing more detailed actions of how we're going to support that. And obviously the GEO Knowledge Hub plays a key role in that in terms of providing the data, also the software and the publication so that we can understand what the methodology is and reproduce. But really, for Earth intelligence, we need to get beyond the imagery. That's one thing that's become very clear. And there's a line in the strategy that says we can no longer rely on the intrinsic value of data. We must actively co-produce meaningful resources that address contemporary challenges. So it's going beyond the imagery, trying to develop products and services that maybe reduce duplication of effort. Things like analysis-ready data are fantastic for that. They reduce that effort. But what we really need also to do is extend that concept to operationalize data and extend it to this idea of decision-ready products. So, the analysis is already done. It's been packaged in a way that a decision maker can pick up and know what to do. And obviously the importance of using users in that process. And some good examples of those types of things that are already within the current GEO work program, Digital Earth Africa and GeoGlam, in terms of preparing those intermediate products and also future forecasting. So the other really good example that I saw was in Africa, where we've got these really easy to use mobile apps to deliver that. And this one was an example of a prediction for waterborne disease. It was a prototype, but the idea was it was available on a mobile phone app to users. So it's much easier to sort of deliver those insights that can inform and unlock strategy and action as again, we're trying to deliver in the strategy. And as part of that, we obviously need to be transparent and reproducible in our workflows, as we've seen. And as I said, the GEO Knowledge Hub really does provide that mechanism to provide that idea, that location to go and get the information from. So signposting projects, data and publications. But at the moment, a lot of our users aren't technical enough to access the GEO Knowledge Hub. So I guess the question is, where is the bridge between what we publish on the website as knowledge, things like facts and figures, statistics and so on, and also what sits on the Knowledge Hub, and trying to identify the connectivity between those to deliver those more public-facing elements. And so to conclude, considerations for GIDT, we need to fill the gaps and to make novel use of technologies as an enabler. We obviously need to make sure that we're talking to this non-technical audience, because if it is Earth intelligence for all, we need to reach those people. We need to continue to get feedback from the community and plan the action. That's why we're here. And to understand the overlaps with the other pillars in the strategy. So how can the Geosecretariat function, admin and operations support it? How do you get funding to support that activity? And then also, how do we incorporate youth and Indigenous knowledge into the mix as well? Because they're very key, strong components of the strategy. And so ODOC and the GEO Knowledge Hub are going to form a really key part of the delivering Earth intelligence for all, and really looking forward to seeing the discussions over the next few days to understand how we can work that into the strategy. So thanks very much.
Very much, and thank you to have reminded that we worked also in GIDTT on this platform, which is not only the Knowledge Hub. The Knowledge Hub is a new component to support the share of the open knowledge, but it completes the DAB and the status checker and so on, all the other tools that have, and we will develop more tools. We work on the GREX to complete the needs of the community. We have time for one question, maybe, in the audience, if you wish. No question? Okay, so I will just say that the challenge we identify, of course, as ever, is to prepare to warm up the user to onboard. It's not only we provide knowledge, we have seen that we already have users, but this connection, beginning this virtuous loop, we began the snowball, the wall ball. about the means to share the knowledge. We began this World Ball with some early pioneers, knowledge providers. We begin to communicate with other hubs, but now we really need to engage with the users and prepare the upscale. So what we would like to think about is these questions on what are the actions we can support, we can push to upscale the use of the Knowledge Hub from the data providers, from other agencies maybe, and from users. And we will have time to discuss that in the future sessions, but keep that question in mind. Now, how to connect really strongly with the users. With that, I will declare this session closed. It's time for coffee break. Please come back at 10:30 sharp, because you have seen that the sessions are busy. We have a lot we want to share to catch up this ongoing train in the best way. Thank you.
Before you go to coffee break, sorry, one more task. We like to hear from you how you have appreciated this session. At the end of each session, today and tomorrow, you will have a QR code. Take 2 minutes to fill it up. It will be very important. It will allow us to get your feedback over the session, your ideas and your inputs over the discussion. See you at 10:30 for the space-based data session and in situ. Thank you.